Hello everybody, this is Brian with the Instructional Technology Coordinator team here in the School District of Waukesha. In this video we're going to take a look at the Apple TV and some restrictions you may want to set on your Apple TV to assist you in using it more successfully in the classroom. So here we are at the Apple TV home screen, and we're going to explore the passcode settings that can be put on your Apple TV. Now, Apple TV is intended to be used by both students and by teachers, which is part of the reason why we put them all on the same network, on the SDW network. And your Apple TV is also going to be on the SDW network. You won't want to make any changes to it to change that network or to swap it over to a different network. Keep it on the SDW network in order for these settings to work properly, as I'm showing you here. So here we are, and you'll notice I've navigated over to the settings. It's that gear icon on the second row there on the right hand side, last column. And I'm going to use my Apple remote, and I am going to select that settings. I'm now going to move down to AirPlay, and I'll select that with my Apple remote. Now I've got a couple of different options, but this video specifically focuses in on on-screen security settings. So the genesis of this comes from the idea that your Apple TV comes with no security setting in place. Although your Apple TV is available in the room that you're working in, or perhaps in your classroom, it's also available via network to a lot of different people. I'm going to switch you over to my Mac here, and I'm just going to show you very quickly. When I come on to my Mac, and I click this drop-down arrow right here on my Mac or also on an iPad, you'll notice I've got a lot of different Apple TVs available. And depending on what building you're in, you'll have more than this. You'll have a long list. So your Apple TV, which is in your specific room, appears on a list in these different devices. And so what we want to avoid is we want to avoid someone taking over your Apple TV and projecting something that you might lose focus for your class, or might be inappropriate, or whatever it might be. And so the way that we do that is switching this security setting from none to one of the two options here. Now the recommended option is an on-screen code. And so I'm going to go ahead and click that here. And you'll see the check mark moves to on-screen code. And when I have this setting set, I'll show you what happens with it. So I'm going to zoom out here. I am going to set up AirPlay on my Mac to this particular Apple TV. And you'll notice what happens up here. That AirPlay code appears on the Apple TV that I want to be using. So here you can see the code is 5271. This randomly generates, it changes every time. But what my Mac asks me to do then is to enter that code, and the same is true on the iPad. And then when I click OK, you'll notice now I can project to the screen. And so this allows me to have some level of security. The only people who are able to actually put in an accurate code are the people who are sitting in the classroom in front of that projector. Now it doesn't keep somebody from still taking over the code, because the screen that you may not want to. It just means that they have to be in your proximity in order to do so. But we do say this is the recommended version because you have some level of control, but it doesn't lock down the device entirely, the Apple TV entirely. So I'm going to show you the other version here, then explain to you why it may not be the best option. The other version, I'm in Settings again. I'm going to go down to AirPlay and turn AirPlay back on. The next option is Password. And here I can set a password. So we'll do that right now. Alright, so mine is AAA. Alright, so now I've got a password set for this Apple TV, and it does exactly what you'd expect it to do. I'm going to come back over to my Mac. Sorry for the shakiness there. I'm going to connect to the boardroom 108, and it's going to ask for this passcode. Now, if I know this passcode, which I do, I'll be able to enter it and project up there. All right. The problem comes not in your use of that passcode, because it is something that you then are unable, you wouldn't want to share with other people, and you will be the only person to get onto it. The problem comes when you are the only person who's able to get onto the Apple TV. The Apple TV is intended for both student and teacher use. It's a quick way for us to have students showing the work that they've done, sharing their thinking, sharing their projects with the rest of the classroom. The Apple TVs are a very powerful and transformative technology if students are allowed to use them. However, if the teachers alone keep those passcodes, students are unlikely or unable to get onto the Apple TV without that passcode being shared. Once the passcode's been shared, it can be passed pretty easily from student to student, and the teacher has to manually go in and change that passcode in order for it to work and not to be known by all the other students. The other piece of this is, in the event that somebody else comes into your classroom, a guest speaker, another teacher, a colleague, your principal, a tech person, to use that Apple TV or to do something with that Apple TV, they will not know that passcode, and they'll have to reset the entire Apple TV, which makes it a pretty unfortunate way of using the Apple TV. If we use the on-screen passcode instead, we don't have that issue. People who are in the vicinity of that tool are able to use it, and nobody else is. It automatically generates a new code, and it is the recommended practice for setting up your Apple TV. As always, if you have questions or if you have suggestions for us, feel free to email us. As always, thank you for your time.